in high school, they didn't know what to do with me. I was friends with the honor roll students, right? As many of us in medicine were. I was a solid hardcore band geek. Like all of the ensembles, mallet ensemble. I played flute, I played piano, I played handbells, I was in the choirs, raking the band director's leaves, band geek. But I also hung out with the heavy metal kids. And back in the day, like goth and heavy metal were kind of the same. For those of you that know, we know. They didn't know what to do with me. And because I wasn't a fitter inner, I wasn't somebody that had to be in one club, there were times that I felt like I was at the periphery of each of them. Like I wasn't, like that inner core of this group. And then I moved away shortly after high school. Right? And then we go to our schools and we do our trainings and we have those experiences. But then I would come back to the central US and many of those people hadn't left and they didn't know what to do with someone that had. So me saying that I had a weekend experience when I went for a walk in the mountains, I went for a hike in the mountains, that was as out there to them as I went to the moon. I went for a boat ride on the bay. I went and had clam chowder. Whatever your experience was while you went away. And then you got those ideas and that way of thinking. You were exposed to different stories and different ideals. And then you come back and you want to bring that incredible information back to your communities. Now, I specialize in working with people in the central US. Many people don't travel a ton depending on the community you're in. Many people's experiences are the neighboring communities, the neighboring states. I feel like travel has become more of a thing. But many people still are not only at the same bar, they are at the same bar stool. So what I see with some of the people that I work with some of my clients, with some of my leaders, is this sense of loneliness. And in that, I see them trying to play it safe. And playing it safe will kill you. Faster than it will kill you. Excuse me. Playing it safe will kill you. That's where I left off. This is so important. Where to even begin on how important it is for you to be comfortable within you. How important it is for you to trust you. Let me pick an example. So maybe one of those groups, I wanted to be one of the diehard inner core people, right? Maybe these are the cool surgeons at your work. Maybe these are the cool inner core click providers at your clinic, hospital. Maybe these are, you want to work with the cool hip in providers. And this happens as we're developing our dream practices, where you think that there's a way that you're supposed to be. And you've told yourself a story. I'm supposed to be professional. I'm supposed to be casual. I'm supposed to I'm in derm, so that means that I need two. What you want to do is you want to go help all the farmers that have a ton of skin cancer catch it before it's a thing. But you think that you need to have dermabrasion and all these cosmetic things when that's really not like your thing. Okay. But maybe you want to work with these farmers. And so maybe your thing is that you get them in and out fast, right? That you understand their recoup, right? That maybe you're not prescribing a bunch of expensive, unnecessary medicines, even though that's standard of care, but like they have, you know, whatever horse product at home, the horse powder, and they have this, and technically it's a similar thing. And so like you're the one that they go to because you get it. Because you're not worried about some like, oh, we need to burn off every little thing, but like the one that's real you get to. And so you become known in your community. So let's use that example. Let's use derm, and yet let's use farmer skin cancer and the cosmetic derm practice as an example. So say you're in derm and you go back to these small communities and you think that because you're in derm and in order to make money, you hear that you need to have this cosmetic practice. So now you're like worried about the skincare and you're talking about this and you're talking about that and you don't really give a shit, but like you feel like you should. So here's what's going to happen, right? And take this example, and y'all are smart enough to apply it to your world, okay? So you're going to be incongruent. Oh my gosh, what's the word I want? Inauthentic, right? You're going to come across as inauthentic. They're going to think you're flaky. They're going to not like you. They're going to not trust you. We're going to come back to that in just a minute. Okay. And then it's not going to work, right? They're not going to show up. They're not going to keep coming. You're not going to grow your practice. You don't now have a prosperous, profitable dream practice. What you really want to do is come to work in your Carhartts and your boots, right? And you want to do this in-clinic cash, like you just don't want to mess with it. They don't want to mess with it. You want to get them in and out and do it well and do it quickly. And you want to remove the barriers for these farmers getting skin cancers. But you don't think you're supposed to come to work in your cowboy boots and your Carhartts. You know, clean Carhartts, right? You have your work Carhartts and you have your ranching Carhartts, whatever your thing may be, right? But you get staff that does this. You get, right? You don't have some pretentious building. You have, you know, maybe, I don't know what you have for furniture, and maybe it costs a little bit, and maybe your primary cash, and so you don't really deal with insurance, so you can get rid of that layer of admin, and so this is your prosperous, profitable, fun, and fulfilling practice, right? But you had to own who you were. What I see so often happen is that we try to do the safe thing, the thing that you're supposed to, the thing that's going to be accepted, the thing the popular crowd does, the thing that the ones that are doing the most of the teaching do, that do it without these personal pre-leadership steps of you getting clear of what you love, you getting confident, you getting really deeply comfortable within you. Right? They miss all of those steps. So then there's this like what you're supposed to do. But what you're supposed to do doesn't work if it's not based on those other things. If it's not based on what you love, they can spot a fake. And then you don't feel true. And then you're looking to build these authentic relationships, but you've now put on a mask. And so they've developed a relationship with a mask. And so it feels even more lonely. Now it's scary to take off the mask, and I help you take off the mask, and I help you get really confident and being authentic. I help you trust you. And as you trust you, your patients Trust you. Because now not only has your supposed to practice, your safe practice not worked, but you rejected who you are. And it hurts double. It hurts extra hard. Not only did you work so hard to be who you thought you needed to be, and then even that wasn't good enough, but then you rejected you in doing it. You ignored who you are. You ignored that this is what you love or that's not what you love. You burned some bridges with relationships that were actually important to you on a soul level. And you were super inauthentically, deep in your core, uncomfortable doing it. And then people want to give up. Because when we do what we love, we're willing to do it. I have so many stories. You're willing to do it until. And it's not that this has to be hard, because this is a style of leadership and practice development that gets to be fun and fulfilling, right? That's what light leadership is. That's what working with me is, that it gets to be fun and fulfilling. But when you have this goal in mind, this passion in mind, this way you want to feel at the end of the day in mind, then the how can shift and adjust. And it can be fun doing it, and the learning and the exploring of doing it. Now, when you're clear, you make more confident decisions, you're more comfortable, right? Your practice grows more naturally, but also the things that aren't working toward your goals, you're more willing to shift and adjust without it shifting your whole sense of identity, your whole sense of who you are. You've not rejected you. There was a way you found that it may work better to achieve your goal. So it doesn't rock your boat so much. It doesn't destroy your self-trust, your self-worth, your self-confidence. Playing it safe will kill you. Playing it safe to try to fit in will kill you. There is a Brené Brown quote that says, when you stop trying to fit in, you belong everywhere. And it's a very different relationship. It's not a codependent relationship. It's not a, I'm going to show this up this way so that you show up this way relationship. Right? It's less manipulative. It's less codependent. I was trying to find another more commonly used word. And I talk a lot about this in Foundations of an Authentic and Empowered Relationship. It's the first program in the core collection. It's free on my website. This is something I give to you. I cannot put a value on it. I've done some numbers on the page because I had to have some numbers on the page. This is invaluable information. Okay? Go there, do it. This isn't some little 45-minute PDF giveaway. This is intensive relationship work, building relationships where you are cherished, loved, and respected for all of who you are. Not for who you're supposed to be, not for who you think that they want to love, not for who you think your patients think you're supposed to be. Oh my God, that example. I'm just like, okay, who's the derm that is trying to do that? Because I don't just like come up with these intuitive things if there's not somebody out there trying to do it. Like, there's someone that, say hi to me. It's a brilliant idea. This is worth every bit of your energy and attention and personal work and doing. Do you know how profitable and prosperous your practice is? Do you know how successful it is? Do you know how people drive like all over to see you because they feel comfortable with you? because they feel like you get it because you have tailored your entire practice to them and you. And so you kind of coming in with a little bit of a drawl and you're casual and you're kicking it and you're not some like professional white coat doc. They want to go to you because you're not trying to deal with some bullshit system that says that you got to do the biopsy and you got to do this and then you got to pre-auth that and then you got to do this and then they may or may not have to pay for it, and then it depends on what the biopsy says, if it's like a well check or if it's actually a thing, and then if it was a cosmetic thing or if it was a right, you don't make them jump through the hoops. Like, you charge them a reasonable amount. They have the products either at their home or they're like just real ones and you have them on the shelf, and you do an incredible job. And they can yuck it up with you and they can laugh with you and thanks, doc, you saved my life. Makes me teary. Because you said yes to you. This is your dream practice for a reason. I love supporting you. Oh, I make me so teary. I can think of so many of my family members and neighbors and friends and community members that this would literally save their life. These are the leaders bringing in the brilliant new era in healthcare that are truly seeing the individual human, that are loving themselves, that are bringing themselves as an individual human to healthcare, that have owned exactly who they're not supposed to be and let that be their specialty. Ooh, I need to write that shit down. Owned who they're not supposed to be and let it be their specialty. You are the leaders of the brilliant new era in healthcare. And as we each do this, as we each say yes to who we are, as we each say, yes, I will bring my authentic self. I will see the individual human in front of me. I will be the caring and compassionate provider that I want to be. I will have the practice of my dreams. We transform healthcare from the inside out, and those top-down oppressive leaders that we know are done become obsolete. We transform healthcare from the inside out, one healthcare provider at a time. But this shit snowballs. And you doing it gives someone else the permission to do it. You're a leader. You're not seeing anybody else do this way, because it is for you to create. Your dream practice is worth developing and leading.